Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you all. Welcome to the launch of the Kuza Broadcasting Awards 2022, hosted and organized by Communications Authority of Kenya. My name is Patricia Mushiri, holding brief for Director, Consumer and Public Affairs. I'll be your MC for the event, and I'm happy to have you all at this very auspicious occasion. I wish to now invite our chief guest, our CEO, Mr. Ezra Chiloba, CEO, Kenya Film Commission, Mr. Thomas Owase, Mr. Matanondaro, Mr. Ikumilu to join me here so that we can kick off the event. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'll ask you all humbly, I know some of you are still having your breakfast, if we could be upstanding for the national anthem, please.
Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano viwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani.
All of you are recognized here. I wish to recognize representatives from government agencies. also recognize senior management, CA members of staff, members of the so today kicks off what is an awesome for us. Kuza events, one of the major corporate events we host as an authority. We've looked forward to this for a long time, and we put in a lot of effort to ensure we do the right thing, and of course the award categories go to the deserving broadcasters. So today is just the kickoff or the launch of the journey towards the awards itself, and we have a robust program where we'll also be launching the SMS voting platform, and our chief guest has humbly accepted to launch that for us. So without taking any more of your time, I'd also like to take this opportunity to welcome our Muslim brothers and sisters. We know you're here, and we know that you're fasting, and this is the holy month of Ramadan, and we recognize that and welcome you also. So without taking any more time, I'd like to invite my colleague, Martin Ikumilu, who will be taking us through a presentation on the awarding categories and telling us more about the awards and the evaluation criteria. I apologize that I forgot the jury. We have a very able jury for these awards, and I also wish to recognize their presence, and they come from various organizations. Thank you very much. Karibuni sana. Martin? Yes.
Good morning. Good morning again. We had a discussion this morning with the members of the jury whether I'm tall enough, or I need something to step on. I hope you're seeing me. Good. Kindly load my presentation. Are we good to go? Maybe from the first page. Karibuni sana. So, Kuza Awards. For those who are new, I know most of you were here in the last Kuza event, but for those who are new, Kuza Award is an initiative of the authority to recognize and fet broadcasters who have demonstrated excellency. This is within our mandate is in the ICT sector, in line with promoting and facilitating the development in keeping with the public interest of a diverse range of broadcasting services in Kenya. So why Kuza Awards? Well, we have 4 objectives of this award, which are basically to celebrate, as I've said, excellency, to reward responsible and responsive broadcasting, to enable consumer participation. And I will be speaking a little bit about that as we progress. And then encourage the use of broadcasting platform for social economic development. Now, this year's Kuza Award, the theme is raising the standard of excellency in broadcasting. I believe this is a theme that resonates with most of us who are in the house. Next slide, please. So what informed this theme? One, the aspect of the need for us to uphold the broadcasting standard is encapsulated in the programming code. And 2, the underlying need to promote desirable and appropriate content in the country in line with the broadcasting standard. And then, of course, we are alive to the fact that we are in the electioneering period. We need to promote responsible coverage of elections during this electioneering period. And lastly, address the issue of social ills with regard to irresponsible venturing into gaming and betting on the broadcasting platform. So, in line with them, uh, we anticipate that through award we shall uphold take time to and then encourage broadcast. We shall continue monitoring how the broadcasters are doing. Today also we are launching the People's Choice category, as highlighted by my colleague. After the next 30 days, we're going to be receiving the votes from people who will be voting for you, and then we will analyze it, and then we shall having our award gala late in May, either the second week or third week of May. So the Kuza Awards 2022 categories can be classified into three. One is the regulatory awards, two is People's Choice Awards, and three is Ubora, that is quality awards. Allow me to go into the details of these three main categories so that we can appreciate what they entail. Under the regulatory category, we're having three subcategories. One is Compliance Award, two is a Local Content Award, then three is Children and Broadcasting Award, and the last one is Upcoming Broadcaster Award. Under Compliance Award, we have Compliance Award for free-to-air TV, for commercial or public. Then we have Compliance Award for pay TV. And then we have a Compliance Award for the broadcast signal distributor. Then we have Compliance Award for community radio. And then we have the Regional Broadcaster Award. The objective is to recognize and encourage broadcasters to comply with the regulatory requirement, and it's based on our performance between July and March this year. May I highlight the Regional Broadcaster Award. This is an award that was created after the broadcasters expressed the need for us to specifically cater for the community and regional broadcasters in the region. So we heard you and we have included that. The Local Content Award is about promoting local content in the country. Our local content is important because through it we can be able to encourage ourselves, encourage the local to be able to tell their own stories in their own way. And the current local content quota is 40%, and I'm happy to note that more than 86% of our broadcasters are more than complying with this. And then we also have local content subscription broadcasting service. We have noted with appreciation the kind of efforts by the pay TV service providers into promoting the local content. And some of them have channels specifically for local content. And as a regulator, we are looking forward to awarding the best of those who are doing this. Then there's another element, another award we call Children and Broadcasting Award. We have our children, and our children need to enjoy our broadcasting. And through this award, we want to appreciate and recognize and fit broadcasters who have taken time to invest in children programming. As I highlighted earlier, we have the regional award. In this one, we have the Upcoming Broadcaster Award. This is a category that you again spoke to us and tell us we need something to encourage the new broadcasters who are coming on board. Those who have been doing 1, 2 to around 3 years. So in this award category, we want to recognize those new and upcoming broadcasters to encourage them to do the good job. is indicated in my presentation. Now, under the People's Choice category, this is where you go to your audience and ask them to vote for you. I've realized that especially people who are doing radio, you need to have a lot of faith. Because you're in a small room and speaking, and you have to have faith that somebody is listening to you. And one of the ways you can be able to know whether somebody is listening to you is to have a way of engaging them. And one of the best ways is through this award category. Because in this award category, you invite them to vote for your station. So in this, we are inviting you to campaign for yourself and be able to tell your audience, do you like what I'm doing? If you like it, vote for me. So we have 4 award categories under these subcategories. Under this, we have the favorite national radio station. Then we have the favorite TV station. Then you have the favorite pay TV station. Then we have introduced a new category under number 4, that is favorite regional radio station. Now this category has come again from your comments, the feedback that we got from you. And you did say that sometimes when you're talking about the national radio stations, sometimes the local stations cannot compete in the same level with the big boys or the big girls, to be fair. So this award category will be able to appreciate and recognize those community radio stations uniquely and be able to say you have a place and your audience acknowledge what you're doing. So the voting will run from today. Our chief guest will launch it after his speech, and then we'll all be invited first ourselves to vote. Before you ask people to vote for your station, my advice is that first, vote for yourself. And then other people can vote for you. So today, after the chief guest has given his speech, I believe he will invite you to go to your phones and vote. So try to agree whether you're going to vote for yourself or vote for another station, which is fine. So as I said, it has those 4 categories. I'll not go through them again. I think I've highlighted. I will go to the next category, please. The Ubora Award category. This Ubora Award category is aligned with the theme of this year's Kuza Award. And again, we just want to recognize broadcasters within the industry who have upheld standards of good taste and decency and protect members of the public from harmful and or offensive material. So under this, we have 3 subcategories. One is the Ubora Award Copyright Radio and TV. And then we have Ubora Award Responsible Betting and Gaming for radio and TV. Then we have Ubora Award Lifetime Achievement. Under the Ubora Award Betting and Gaming Award, we want to award a station, a TV station, and a radio station that has enhanced responsible use of broadcasting with respect to betting, lottering, and gaming. And under Copyright Award, Radio and TV, we want to appreciate and recognize and fight broadcasters who have complied with copyright and IP regulatory requirements. And then the last and very important award is the Lifetime Achievement. We have colleagues who have really invested in the broadcasting sector. And we also have stations that have really done well, really invested in this. This award is about those kind of categories, individuals and entity who have stood out. And as an authority, we want to recognize and appreciate them. And that's what we will be doing in this award. Am I moving faster than? I hope we are aligned, eh? Thank you. Now, in order to do this, we cannot do it alone as CA. We have invited our colleagues in the sector to help us in this regard. So we're going to be collaborating with consumer organizations such as Television and Radio Listeners Association, TEVIRA, and the Consumer Federation of Kenya, COFEC. And as highlighted earlier on, we're also liaising with Kenya Film Commission. The CEO is here, Mr. Timothy. We're going to be liaising with the Media Council of Kenya. I have my colleagues here. Then we're going to also be liaising with the KEKOBO, Kenya Film Classification Board, and BCLB. And for the People's Choice voting, we're going to be liaising with the Better SMS Limited, who is facilitating the platform. At this junction, may I, with the permission of the chief guest, just ask the jury who are here to just stand and wave to us. Kindly, my colleagues. Maybe I can introduce them very fast. This is Martin from TEVIRA. You can do like this. Thank you. And then we have Faith from KEKOBO, Kenya Copyright Board. Thank you. Then we have Judy from BCLB. Thank you. Then we have Stella from Media Council of Kenya. Thank you very much. You can take your seat. And then we have Joel Karanja has been very close. Just stand, my brother. He has been working very closely with us as a jury. He's the chairman of the Digital Broadcast Association. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. So we'll be working with those different agencies and associations to ensure that the process is free, fair, transparent, and will reflect what comes from you. Before I wrap up, allow me to just take us through the People's Choice. For the People's Choice Award, as I said earlier, today you begin your self-campaign. Tell people who like your program to vote for you. But if you are very sincere and somebody else has a better program, you can also tell your people to vote for your other station, yeah? It's good to be sincere. Okay? The authority will share with us how to vote template after this event. And then for the FM stations, with regard to the Children's Programming Award, Children with Broadcasting Award, we really invite you to give us your weekly programming so that we can be able to see how many slots, how much programming do you set aside for the children. So kindly send your programming by 30th of April, 2022. If you bring a day after, 1 hour after 30th of April, we will not accept it. The jury here is very strict, okay? So also for the pay TV service providers, we want to appreciate the local content that you are putting on your platform. Kindly send all your initiatives on local content programming by 30th April. With those few words, that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Martin. I was just thinking about the principle of voting for somebody else before I vote for myself. Huh? I was thinking about that. So anyway, thank you so much for that presentation. We now know what the categories are, the new categories that have been presented here, and we've also recognized the jury. It's now my honor and distinguished pleasure to invite our chief guest, Mr. Ezra Chiloba, Director General Communications Authority of Kenya, to give his remarks and immediately thereafter launch the People's Choice SMS voting platform. DG, karibu sana. I'm sure you'll have to adjust the mic.
Before I do the adjustment of the mic, I want to take this opportunity to, first of all, invite Timothy to, on behalf of the Kenya Films Commission to say a few words because it's an important stakeholder in this event. Welcome.
The chief guest, the DG Communications Authority, broadcasters, CA management and staff, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm happy to join CA this morning as we launch the Kuza Awards for the year 2022. At Kenya Film Commission, I bring you greetings and happy to note that we are very thrilled that CA has sustained the execution of this particular activity, which is so critical in our industry. Broadcasters, especially under the regulations provided by Communications Authority, provide a pipeline for local content creators. And by executing the Kuza Awards, I do believe this provides us with an opportunity to sell local content and also communicate various messages to critical audiences. I want to thank the DG, especially for our collaboration with the Communications Authority on various programs, and reiterate our commitment that we continue to champion production of local content, especially in the verge to attain the 40 to 60% local content. I want to take this opportunity also to encourage broadcasters to take up new challenges or opportunities so that you are able to reach the unreached audiences. Of course, we have room to champion audiences together so that we have more numbers. And when we have more numbers, definitely advertising space will be open to everyone. And when we do that, we'll be able to create more wealth. I also want to encourage broadcasters to partner with the producers. I would like you to partner with the producers in a way that you are buying content from local producers, while local producers are creating job opportunities for various practitioners within the production value chain. As I conclude, allow me also to encourage Communications Authority to consider a small percentage of Universal Services Fund towards production of local content. That will go a long way to see to it that we have many jobs created and wealth created in our country. Thank you very much for listening.
All right, I think now I'm able to adjust. Thank you very much, Tim, for those remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today we are a full house, and I really appreciate. This is my second engagement with the media fraternity of this kind. The first one we had, just a handful of us. And when I went back to the office, I asked my colleagues, what is it? What happened? Each and every day I have applications for frequencies and licenses. And we keep on issuing them generously. But where were these people? And I think I'm glad that we are here today. So let us appreciate one another. Listening to Ikimilu speak, I thought of changing my speech because he said everything else we needed to have said today, which is the importance of this award and the importance that this community plays in our social, economic well-being. So this morning, we are here to unveil the 5th edition of Kuza Awards, and perhaps the first one for me to attend. And it's an initiative by the authority to recognize broadcasters who demonstrate excellence and compliance with regulatory requirements. Through this initiative, we aim to enhance an atmosphere of continuous improvement as we pivot the industry as a key driver in the socio-economic well-being of our country. And broadcasting all over the world, opens up a world of opportunities to millions of people. And in Kenya, of course, a lot of us, we've made a lot of progress because of the ability to access information availed by the opportunities that broadcasting gives us. Radio and TV are enabling ordinary citizens to lend their voices on issues that matter to them, especially on how they want to see our society organized, solving their everyday challenges and shaping our country's democratic development. And we're talking about solving, through the media, people want to interpret the world around them and to imagine how things can be made better. And that, of course, takes me to the subject matter of what is going on today. Yesterday, we had a bit of bashing around SIM card registration. I'm going to talk about that towards the end of my speech. So that is why the authority is committed to the promotion and facilitation of diverse range of broadcasting services in Kenya. And it's good to see the chairman of the digital broadcasters here. Of course, I've seen someone else. Is that Garuya? Yes, how are you? Yeah, Karibu. Those are the mainstream. Then we have the digital broadcasters. But then you also have another category of emerging media personalities, the online community, with millions of audiences following them, giving the traditional media houses competition. So, but in a democracy, diversity is good. It helps us to innovate, it helps us to thrive. So this year's theme, as Kimilu mentioned, is about raising the standards of excellence in the broadcasting sector. And the focus is to fit broadcasters that have demonstrated a high sense of responsibility, upholding good taste and decency, fairness and adherence to the existing laws and regulations. We shall also appreciate promoters of inclusivity, including those who have upheld standards around supporting differently able persons in our society. Additionally, the awards will recognize broadcasters who have continuously championed democratic principles, holding leaders to account and acting as watchdogs for citizens. And yes, citizens will have an opportunity to rate those media houses according to how they've impacted their lives. We will further recognize those who have gone a notch higher to promote appropriate content in line with the provisions of the programming code and observe the laws that guide matters gaming and betting on the respective broadcast platforms. The 2022 Kuza Awards, like all previous awards, will continue to promote consumer feedback and audience participation in recognizing broadcasters who have demonstrated excellence in their work. And that's why we have the People's Choice Awards, where we're going to give a chance to the audience or your respective audiences the opportunity to participate by voting for their preferred stations. Of course, we're going to unveil the short code that is going to enable this to happen. Additionally, it is worth acknowledging the fact that some broadcasters without a national presence are creating a positive impact in particular regions of this country. So to encourage such initiatives, this year's awards have provided radio listeners with the option of also selecting their favorite radio stations within their respective localities. As part of the multi-agency approach to address the concerns that are being continuously raised with regard to the violation of various legal requirements, the authority is partnering with agencies including the Betting Licensing Board. We have a representative here. Oh yeah, oh, you're on the jury, so that's very important. the Kenya Film Classification Board, Kenya Film Classification Board, and then of course we have the Kenya Film Commission led by Timothy here. And one of the initiatives we are pursuing with the Kenya Film Classification Board is to seek their determination of the appropriate classification of gaming-related programming, including advertisements. KFCB's determination will assist the authorities' enforcement of the period during which such content can be aired. As we review the programming code and broadcasting regulations, we hope to address the question of gaming in a comprehensive manner and facilitate responsible use of broadcasting platforms by licensees, particularly to protect vulnerable audiences against the negative impact of gaming in society. Ladies and gentlemen, what about elections? We got about 4 months to the election. Ours is to continue reminding broadcasters of their cardinal obligations on the responsible use of broadcasting platforms as articulated in the programming code, the regulations, and the ICT sector laws. I wish to reiterate that the authority is keenly monitoring this aspect and will not hesitate to take necessary regulatory actions against any broadcaster who fails to comply with the provisions of the code and regulations. And to enable us also achieve this, we are boosting our capacity and capability, acquiring new infrastructure, employing more people so that we are more responsive to the demands around enforcement of the programming code. And the approach we're going to take starting now, in the next 12 months, is to make sure that the monitoring and compliance aspect is as inclusive as possible. What do I mean? We are moving away from the mainstream media, not moving away actually. In addition to the mainstream media monitoring, we also focus on local media stations, local broadcasting, with the ability to be able to even translate local languages into, of course, national language or official languages, so that we are able to assess the type of content that is being aired. By doing so, our aim is not to frustrate your efforts, but rather to ensure that we maintain the standards of excellence in the broadcasting space. As I conclude, I wish to emphasize that media influences public perceptions in profound ways. This is a huge obligation that must be discharged with diligence for the greater good of our country. Which also brings me to the other question, if you allow me, before we do the launch, of the SIM card registration. The way we've carried out enforcement or continue carrying out enforcement in the broadcasting sector, we're doing the same in the telecommunication sector. As you know, the CA's mandate is broad. About 11 key areas that we are responsible for to protect public policy objectives and the greater good of society. The requirement for SIM card registration is not a new requirement. It's been there since the introduction of mobile communication. And the regulations at issue now are the regulations of 2015, which detail how subscribers or users of telecommunication services are supposed to register. And every quarter, telecommunication operators submit reports of how many people they've registered, who are they, how many agents they've used to register people, where are these agents, and of course, the details of what is required for registration are provided in law. So, starting last year, not actually last year, for the last 2 years, we've been working with operators, but largely issuing directives to them to ensure that subscribers are properly registered for them to be able to access communication services for the greater good of our society. So, early this year, we followed up on the matter with the telecommunication operators, and we gave them a deadline of ensuring that by 15th of April, their database, respective databases on subscribers were up to date. So, as usual, what happens in this country is that people are very active towards the deadline. But the campaigns for registration this year actually started in January. And they're being led by the telcos themselves. I know you've seen those adverts saying, and of course some of you are making money out of it, which is good. You've seen those adverts saying, according to the Communication Authority of Kenya, please do the following. They are right. But since we have a deadline, 15th of April, that's why you see a lot of activities, We must ensure that each and every subscriber is registered. We got about 65 million SIM cards out there in operation. 65 million. What is the population of Kenya? Yeah? What's the population of Kenya? We are not at 50 million. So it means each and every person in this country, including the newborn, has a number attached to them. That's what it means. But we know that, of course, a lot of us have more than one SIM cards. Some registered, others not registered. So we're trying to clean up this space for purposes of enhancing consumer experience in that particular sector and protecting the public good of our own security. So the major complaint we've had is about the requirements of photos and everything. The regulations do not anticipate that we are going to take a photograph of you. Okay? So if you're duly registered, you don't need to go to your operator or your service provider to get re-registered if you're duly registered. So the question should be, how do we know that we are duly registered? I think that's the concern everyone has, right? How do you know that you are duly registered? So I had a meeting with the operators this week, and we agreed that they're going to facilitate subscribers with the means of enabling them to verify whether they are duly registered or not. So if you're not duly registered, then you're triggered to go and provide your details. Okay? And you might have received a message, *106#. That code, *106#, that code is what is going to enable you to verify whether or not you're duly registered. And it's common across platforms. So please, just do the simple thing, verify whether your details are with the telecommunication operators or not. If you don't do that, of course, when enforcement comes, the telcos are going to switch you off. They're going to switch you off. And looking at the situation across the country, the compliance rate is not very good at all. That means the risks are even much higher. So the requirements for CA are there set out in regulations on SIM card registration, regulations of 2015. But we also know that with the digital financial systems, the demands around KYC, know your customer, have become even greater. The Central Bank of Kenya has got its own requirements when it comes to registration of those numbers for purposes of money transaction. So one of the things we may need to do is to harmonize these requirements so that registration, there's only one standard that is, applied across. So we are not doing this to punish anyone. We're just doing this to be compliant with the rules and regulations enacted by your own representatives in Parliament in 2015. So if we fail to do that, of course, you're going to hold us to account. But we're also doing that to protect the vulnerable groups. How many of you have received messages from, tuma kwa hii namba sio ile nyingine? How many? Let me see. Everyone, each one of us. Have you ever followed up to find out who the owners of those numbers are? We have always concluded it's where they emanated from committee, right? So we need to minimize those issues. We need to, because they are a security threat, not just to the nation, but you as an individual as well. We need to figure out on how best we're going to clean this space. Talking about photos, so I was challenging my colleagues. How many Kenyans are on social media platforms? Each and every day, on WhatsApp status, people are sharing their pictures, even as we leave this place, we're going to take a picture here with the Tavira chairman. They'll be posting there. I was with the Chiloba. Then in the evening, we'll be somewhere. And we know what social media companies do. They're able to put that data together, and they understand you very well using the algorithms. And that is gold for them. So they know us better than we know ourselves. Why? Because we've given them our identities. So when it comes to regulations, SIM card registration, assuming that the picture is required, we say no. But on a daily basis, we live our lives on social media, sometimes carelessly. I've seen that. But I'm not saying that we require your photograph. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that the sensitivities or the concern raised are legitimate, but we must also be honest with ourselves whether we have understood the issues at hand. So ladies and gentlemen, by 15th, try to make sure that you're up to date. We are going to, and we can also use your platforms to communicate to citizens. And perhaps that's the best way to award. If we have someone who is promoting public interest to ensure that people are registered, we could add that as a criteria of this year's Kuza Awards. I'll be following closely to see. I'm not saying you do it, but I'm inspiring you to consider that. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's come back to the business of today. So I'm pleased to announce that, something else I should mention. Early this year, I received an email. And I quote, I was so scared. This is what it says. Consequently, find it necessary to move with speed and institute the process of implementation of Kuza Awards at the end of May 2022. Otherwise, we shall use all the means within our disposal to inform the general public about the sabotage to defeat consumer welfare by the Communication Authority of Kenya. We all have the powers to institute proceedings in court to compel to do your duty as required by law and to respect consumer provisions that are international and domestic. Please make sure Kuza Awards 2022 happens. I'm compliant. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. go to your SMS menu as though you want to send a text message. Are we there? Type in the number 15601. What's the number? 15601. Now, I want us to start the process of casting our votes. Ikimulu talked about the People's Choice Award. And he suggested that actually you could start by voting for yourself. And he also suggested that you can actually embark on a campaign, a serious campaign. And you know, I used to manage politicians, so I know what campaign means. For you to win, my friend, you must work hard. So let us see. Now, in the message, put in the word Kuza. That is the message. Kuza. Okay, are we there? Now, let us send. Have we sent? Do you have some feedback? Welcome to the 2022 CA Kuza Broadcasting Awards, People's Choice Award category. Vote at no cost for your preferred station. To vote in English, send 1. To vote in Kiswahili, send 2. To vote in send, okay. All right. So you can choose either 1 or 2. I've chosen 1. Let us send the message. Then what's the question there? Louder. Name your favorite national radio station. Of course, there are more questions coming. Since I don't have a radio station, or maybe I should vote for one of you. Which one? Whoever goes up first. Radio Citizen. Okay. So there are more questions that will follow to allow you to complete the process. So this is what we are doing for the People's Choice Award this year. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to participate in this exercise, and as a result, Kuza Awards 2022 is now officially. I didn't notice there were some things happening there. I was told to send the SMS. So, but very colorful stuff. Thank you very much, and I want to wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, DG. Thank you for also taking the opportunity to address the SIM card registration issues and concerns by Kenyans. Thank you, everybody, for honoring us with your time and your presence. We don't take that for granted. Sasa kazi kwa jury, kazi kwa voters. Let's make this exciting. We've begun here. I've actually voted for all the categories, and we look forward to seeing you at the auspicious awards ceremony. So thank you so much. Have a lovely rest of the Friday. Have a lovely weekend, and God bless you. Thank you. For those who've not had breakfast, we still have food. Please don't go before you have your breakfast.